Raise your hand if you know someone pulling in 80, maybe even 150 grand a year, who is still somehow living paycheck to paycheck. It is a surprisingly common reality for a massive number of high earners. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. They got the degree, they landed the stable job with the solid salary, and yet one unexpected car repair or medical bill is enough to throw their entire month into chaos. This chart shows the normalized American debt load, breaking down the $100,000 average household debt into four distinct areas: mortgages, student loans, auto loans, and credit cards. This hidden liability drains a massive amount of cash flow before payday even hits. Look closer at the highest earning demographic on this breakdown. The largest share of this debt burden does not belong to people struggling below the poverty line. It belongs to professionals making six figures. This is happening because we operate inside an economic system built specifically to absorb wage increases by offering immediate, easy access to consumer credit. Getting out of that cycle means completely changing how you measure success. You have to stop looking at your top-line income and start focusing entirely on the space left over between what you earn and what you spend. Financial autonomy does not come from a massive gross salary. True independence relies entirely on your discipline to protect and retain your remaining cash flow. There is a very predictable pattern that triggers whenever someone gets a raise. It is called lifestyle inflation, and it is the almost automatic expansion of your baseline monthly costs to match your new income. Picture a young professional starting out. They are making $42,000 a year, living in a modest apartment, driving an older car, and managing their money well enough to get by. Fast forward a few years. They get promoted to $70,000. Almost immediately, they move into a nicer place, trade in the old car, and add a few new monthly subscriptions. The upgrades come with invisible price tags, higher rent, a new car payment, that rapidly consume the new gross pay. Notice this space at the top. After a $28,000 raise, the net unassigned cash remains exactly the same. They earn more, but capture nothing extra. The reason this traps so many people is that every single upgrade feels completely rational in the moment. Of course you should live in a nicer place when you can afford it. That logic perfectly masks the fact that the broader pattern is sabotaging your future. Matching your lifestyle to your income provides temporary comfort, but it guarantees you remain entirely dependent on your next paycheck just to maintain your baseline. We also have a culture that aggressively normalizes borrowing against your own future to fund your daily life today. Using a credit card for daily expenses effectively turns you into a middleman. You take the labor you perform this month and immediately hand the compensation over to lenders to pay for last month's lifestyle. Carrying an average credit card balance at a 24% interest rate means you commit to years of payments. You end up paying thousands of dollars extra for items that likely hold zero value by the time they are actually paid off. The modern auto loan applies this exact same pressure. Consumers lock up huge percentages of their future income to finance a machine that rapidly depreciates every single time they pull out of the driveway. The marketing reinforces this cycle at every turn. Phrases like 0% financing and easy monthly payments are explicitly designed to make spending unearned money feel like a calculated, responsible move. Consumer debt gives you immediate access to the symbols of wealth, but it mathematically guarantees a higher lifetime cost of living, destroying your ability to actually become wealthy. To be fair, financial stress is not purely behavioral. There are massive, mathematically unavoidable structural costs in this country that have completely outpaced average wage growth. Since 1990, the entry price for a basic middle-class life has multiplied, driven heavily by an explosion in baseline housing costs across almost every metro area. Add to that the relentless burden of modern health insurance premiums, where a single out-of-pocket emergency can drop a $10,000 bill onto an already stretched budget. For dual-income households with young kids, the numbers get even tighter. Full-time daycare for a single child can easily eclipse the cost of a mortgage, creating massive structural overhead just to remain in the workforce. But we have to draw a hard line between the money spent on those unavoidable survival costs and the discretionary cash burned on identity. Algorithm-driven social feeds bombard us with highlights from our peers. This comparison economy artificially raises the baseline for what a normal life is supposed to look like. Purchasing luxury cars or high-end clothing is rarely about the utility of the item itself. It is almost entirely a defense mechanism against the fear of falling behind or looking like you are struggling. Projecting the image of wealth actively destroys the capital required to build it. You must ruthlessly separate the overhead of your survival from the cost of your social signaling. This comparison table shows the ultimate test, the traditional income game in column A directly against the gap protocol in column B. Look at column A. A high top-line income paired with maximized lifestyle overhead yields a tiny $200 gap. This buys high social status but leaves the individual highly vulnerable and extremely stressed. Now look at column B. A moderate salary combined with strict limits on overhead creates a massive $1,600 buffer. This produces genuine resilience and completely eliminates daily financial panic. If you are early in your career, the strategy is straightforward. Deliberately freeze your current lifestyle during your next 2 promotion cycles. Let your income grow while your expenses stay flat, and aggressively widen your cap. If you are a high earner who still feels comfortably broke, you need a ruthless audit of your identity spending. Accept a temporary hit to your ego, sell off depreciating status symbols, and reclaim your cash flow. The math does have one hard exception. If basic structural costs, like housing and food, completely exceed your take-home pay, your primary goal must be increasing your top-line revenue. You cannot budget your way out of a systemic deficit. The financial industry wants you focused on your gross income because it encourages borrowing. But true wealth is built exclusively in the invisible margins of what you refuse to spend.